Good day. Yeah, it's a few days later now, and I thought I'd get the potatoes in with the last video, but when I went to edit it, I found the potatoes took too long, and so I had to make them in a separate video. And there we are. I'll put you up on the north side today. You get a little bit of a glare from the sun. You got the sun rays coming down there, but of course you don't have the shadow in the picture. I ended up sick after I'd done the other harvest yesterday, so it was a good job I was planning on waiting till today to get up the tomatoes. Potatoes, I mean. I got the wheelbarrow right beside me, and I'll move it along this time because if you are harvesting your potatoes and you throw them back in a pile as you go, when they hit each other or they hit something hard, they can split. So this first one, I'm going to wash it, get the dirt off it, and I'll show you. I'll have to turn you around because that's the sun now. The shadow, I mean. You're going to have to see my shadow. Okay, so you see how rough the skin is? That's supposed to be nice and smooth, like them couple of parts there. So this is scab. It appears mostly in two conditions. If you over fertilize your potatoes, so if you're using chemical fertilizers and you use too much of it, but in this case it was ashes, wood ash from my stove. So there's an example you can learn from my mistake. People, they do like bonfires on their potato field and that, right? But most of those people, they till up their garden every year, and they till that all in and mix it with the other soil. This is a no-till garden, and you put on every year, you're putting on different layers in a lasagna type style, just like the force would do, depend on the worms and beetles and that to churn it up. So putting ashes, when I bring the ashes out from the stove, just spread them over the different beds, and it's just sitting there on top. So all of the effect of the ashes, including the high pH parts of it and all, is sitting there just right on top where all the food is growing, and that's what I got. And of course that's also why I'm thinking that's why the other seeds were hard to get them to germinate. And I've had a terrible year this year. I've had the weather against me because it is the second driest and looks like it's going to be the hottest year in the past 8. But as far as the germination and this scab goes, that's all mostly due to the wood ash, I think. I was out there this morning. I had to come out and get a couple of potatoes for breakfast, so I won't have many right there. But I've been having good success with the red ones that I have. They grow big potatoes, and they're solid right on through usually. Get the occasional one with a hollow, but mostly they're, like I say, solid the whole way through. Of course, I always got to be pulling out grass rhizomes out of this bed. Nice that I have nice soft soil here. Now back here I've already been harvesting, so don't know if I'll find any potatoes there or not. Creeping buttercup is becoming an issue here too. So potatoes, now you have to do digging on potatoes, so while you're digging your potatoes, then you might as well get out all these hard things and stuff that's really causing problems. You just wait until harvest time and then you really try to get their roots out of it. That's what I've been doing anyway. Now I'm going to go around the other side and come back. Okay. I'll quickly break this back level now. Hopefully I can get some mulch on that in the next week or so. So that's the harvest from that bed. But remember, it's only 2/3 of the bed because I was taking potatoes from it. So it's not a good harvest, but it's not a terrible harvest either. I thought I had conquered the stinging nettles in this corner, but apparently not. So I had to put my gloves on. The tops are just going to break off, but I'll get the roots here now when I start to dig. You see, the roots of stinging nettles are more fibrous. So you're pulling up stinging nettles and you leave some of those fibrous roots in there. You don't see them because, well, they blend right in, right? And the next thing, you got stinging nettles growing back. Mostly nice sized potatoes in this bed, but they're not as big as what was in the other bed. That might have to do with the amount of water because the sprinkler's right there and it goes in a circle, right? So that bed would have been getting much more water than the end of this bed. No more ashes on the garden. That's the long range call of a jay. It does have several other vocalizations that's really low when they're wanting to talk to someone close by. See, they're bigger down this end, so I'm thinking that that's what it was. There's less moisture. There was less moisture on that end of the bed. So, not a good harvest, but not totally skunked either. one 5-gallon bucket full. And if my memory serves me correctly, one bucket full per bed is good. I've had as high as 2 bucketfuls per bed. So remember now that I did harvest some more, so we can say as much as a bucketful and a half we got out of those 2 beds. There's 4 beds here. One of them I'm expecting to get practically nothing out of. 2 of them over there I know are all Kennebec, so there might be a fair amount in those. I don't know if this entire bed is Kennebec. It says it is. The Kennebec sign is right there. I had 3 beds of Kennebec in. So that's I'll check. No, the other bed in the back there is russets. So I have 2 full beds of Kennebec here. A full bed of russets. The bed of russets that you're standing right beside. I have gone through that. I didn't get much out of it. I didn't check to see. Now, the red ones, what I just harvested was 30.6 pounds. So that is what will be considered a good harvest for 1 bed. Now that second bed is not a full bed because it's got that triangle piece on it. Cut out of it, I mean. And I harvested some before. So I checked my records. I have a total of 45 pounds of red potatoes. So, like I said, not ideal, but I wasn't skunked either. Let's see what we got for Kennebecs. I have some sunburn ones. It's not technically poisonous, but if you eat very much of that green, it will probably give you an upset stomach. It's oxalic acid. The potatoes are a nice size, and I'll bring it up close. This side of the garden didn't get as much ashes, you see. Most of the ashes went over on the sunny plot, and there's no scab on these at all. Thing about the potatoes, they all grow on the one level, so you either have to bury them deep enough, or you have to keep up on the mulch and keep it well mulched, or you end up with green potatoes. Now, a lot of this green, if you peel it, it probably doesn't go in very far. And so if you got potatoes like that, just take them, and when it comes time to process the potatoes, just see how much there's there, right? You just peel away the green stuff. That plant had a nice bunch of potatoes. And looks like so did the plant next to it. I don't know if there's 2 different kinds of stinging nettle or not, but you see this is also from the stinging nettle, from this one here. And I showed you the other one with all the fibrous roots, so I don't know if it's a matter of growing conditions or is it 2 different species. Ah, really nice one. I'll put you over there. Looks like I might have already harvested that first plant. Okay. So I didn't get skunked with Kennebec in that first bed. There's no sign in the bed behind me. I'll have to check my videos to find out what I planted there. I'm going to do this bed now. This bed is all Kennebec. It is underneath the, going underneath the trees, so that has affected the production of this bed in past years. However, the plants, they were alive much longer than the ones out here. If you check the previous garden tours, the outside of that other bed was just completely dead while it was still totally alive in here and growing healthy. So, we don't know what we're going to get until we dig it up, eh? That's the first potato. Still no scab. Starting out the same as the other bed. You see, I put metal clippings on here, and I don't have the same grass problem as I had over there. So the seeds, grass seeds that come in, I don't think that's the source of my grass problems over in the sunny plot. Because I mean, could a grass seed pop up, germinate, and within a month or two send out that many rhizomes? I mean, I don't know enough to say yes or no, but that's awful fast growing. You see this one, the stalk is still green. Getting the occasional nice potato here, but not very many. And yeah, I don't think potatoes is a thing that grows in the shade. But I only have so many beds prepared, so hopefully next year I get a couple more beds out that way. Oh, now that's a nice potato. So now these stayed alive longer, and they made some really nice potatoes. So what conclusion are we going to come to about that? I put some of the anose bedding in there. It's the tree roots there. I keep disturbing them because I don't want them out there. And that's just some feeder roots, right? And that won't kill the trees, just the few that I'm pulling up there. Yeah, that's what caused the better potatoes. The shade, of course, was restricting it, but I put a bunch of the hen house bedding here, and that helped them grow. And see, we got some really nice potatoes. So now that bedding wasn't completely composted. So if you have hens, I don't know, I mean, you might want to leave it a couple of months, but you don't really have to compost it right down. Not in according to what we've done here. And that's the same thing with those two beds out front, right? They're producing great. So I've got to get hens again. Hens are easy to keep, and they produce a wonderful source of fertilizer for your garden. I was trying to think of why I did this, but now I remember. I couldn't go down here because of the roots of that tree, so I built this up with the hen house bedding, which in itself is kind of an exciting thing because now I know I just got to build the bed up and I can grow a lot more underneath. I didn't get skunked with the Kennebecs either. It's getting cold. This is the last bed. This is russets. I notice I got some showing above the ground. There's some nice looking ones. There's about a half a bed back right there that I'm not expecting to get anything out of. No, I wasn't expecting to get much out of any of them, but I did kind of do half alright with the Kennebec and the red ones. So let's try this one now. Nice potato. Now, as I was saying, you can cut the green off of these and just use what's not turned green. But the other thing is, they've been showing above the soil, and we've had frost. So these will start to rot. So I have to put these aside and use them first. See, they didn't get mulched very well because my lawnmower wasn't working. Don't know if I already said that. These little tiny ones, I washed them up right away and I roasted them, put my favorite spices on them and roasted them in the oven, and boy were they delicious. Of course, now I'm thinking that russets sometimes go hollow when they get that big. You see, this is lemon balm. And it was never planted up here. That was planted way back there. But it gets around. See, I put a whole lot of chicken bedding in there. And as I said when I put it there, I want to build it up. Because right here, don't go down very far and there's just a mat of roots, tree roots. Started again without the camera on. This is what I think they call a dead nettle. It doesn't sting. Once again, there's not very many, but in this case, I've got some really big ones, and most of them are nice. And once again, no problem with the scab. So most likely the scab was because of the ashes. Now, you see I dug up there, that was where the last of those red thumb potatoes were. And right in the back, beside the wheelbarrow there, I dug some as well. So I'm going to dig around there. I'm not expecting to find anything much, but I'll leave the camera on just in case. Yeah, it was a poor harvest. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, though. I got more than half of a good potato harvest. So we'll see how long that lasts me. So remember, when I was digging this bed, I mentioned how the sunburned ones, they also got frozen on top too from the frost. And yeah, it quickly, once they thawed out, that part quickly rotted, and I shot a little clip to show you that. So if you got a sunburned potato and you're going to keep it and just cut off the bad part, make sure you keep that separate and don't put it in with the rest of your potatoes. Thank you for watching. And I hope I'll see you in the next video.